And welcome to a special edition of the Give Me Liberty podcast of the Standing for Freedom Center right here at Liberty University. I'm joined by a very special guest, Chief of Staff at Turning Point USA, Mikey McCoy. Mikey, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Right before we started, you said a quick prayer. And so I was actually bragging about how last week when I interviewed Governor Youngkin, I was like, okay, Governor, we have 30 seconds left on the clock. You know, we're about to go live. He goes, oh, perfect time. Just enough time to pray. And he prayed. You're the second person who's prayed before a podcast. Very honorable.
Hey, you know what? I love our governor. So you're in the Commonwealth of Virginia. He's amazing. Lord willing, let's pray the outcome of this election in just a few weeks goes well. So
yeah, we can talk about that too. I mean,
there's
a whole a bunch of problems with Jay Jones and just
for sure.
Spanberger and
well, it's the party of death in so many ways, right? I mean, so you just think about the fact that he says in a text to a leader, a Republican leader in the state house, you know, hey, I wish these people dead, the Gilbert family, so they can feel this pain, and this is the crazy thing, Mikey. 7 weeks ago, we lose Charlie, and just how brazen does a party have to be not to demand his resignation, Jay Jones, in this environment?
Yeah, and you have on MSNBC people going on there and saying, you know, for the sitting Republicans that are against us right now, we're coming after your necks. They said that 4 weeks after Charlie was assassinated. But then Jay Jones, so for you, those of you who don't know who he is, he's running for Attorney General here in Virginia, and he was texting Kerry Coyner, who is a sitting member of the House, and saying how he wanted to kill Todd Gilbert, who was, I think, the Speaker in the House of Representatives here. Yeah, he's
visited here a few times,
and he's a good guy. Yeah. And so then you have him doubling, then tripling down. And then on a phone call that he has with Kerry Coyner, he says, you know, I want to see not only him die, but I want to see his kids die too. And she goes, okay, well, I have to get this in writing because nobody's going to believe this on a phone call. So she texts and goes, you weren't just saying that. You were saying you wanted his children to die too. He said, yes, I did say that. He doubles down. You would think he wouldn't double down.
Right.
He doubles down. He says, no, I do want to see them die. And only when people feel pain personally do they act on policy. Then he says, and yes, they're breeding little fascists that need to die.
Wow.
These are kids.
Yeah.
And then, so the week that breaks in the news, we also have the Young Republicans group chat that leaks out of New York. And so you see on the left, they try to draw this like moral equivalence between the two. You know, Jay Jones, it wasn't right. Those are leaked text messages. It wasn't right. But, you know, the right, you guys have leaked text messages too. And that one just sent me. That made my blood boil. I put out a post. Because on the right, these are 20-year-olds with a leaked group chat with screenshots. And if you're going to ask us to condemn 20-year-olds making off-color jokes in a group chat, you're going to have to condemn 1/5, 1/6 of the college population in America. Because they make off-color jokes all the time in group chats. And also, these kids aren't running to be the Attorney General top cop in one of the biggest states in the country.
Exactly.
Where our nation's capital happens to be.
Right.
And when you're the top cop, you can really target people. Liberty University, I just said this at lunch with you guys. I'm worried for you guys if Jay Jones gets elected.
It's insane because, yes, I mean, at that point, you're talking about the chief law enforcement officer for the Commonwealth of Virginia, and there's a lot of discretion in terms of what you do and don't go after, right?
Yes.
And so, you know, this is the thing about, you know, our tradition as a constitutional order, a society where we have the rule of law and we have habeas corpus and all these things that are afforded to American citizens. But the fact that people can selectively target institutions, and we've been through this before under the Biden administration, and right now, you know, it remains to be seen how this election is going to turn out, but you're exactly right. Equivocation, by the way, you just pointed this. There are three different types of language, basically. There's univocal language. That's language like 2 + 2 is 4. It's like the language of mathematics. Like it's universal truth. It doesn't matter how you say it, it's always true.
Yeah.
That's univocal language. There's analogical language. This is kind of things where you use certain kinds of analogies to sort of describe something.
Yeah.
And oftentimes that's the language of scripture. Like if you read the Psalms, right?
Yeah.
There's the kind of metaphorical language or poetic language. Then there's equivocal language. And it's literally like the language of evil. This is the language of Satan.
Yeah.
Which is to take two things that are not the same, but make them sound as though they
are the same.
That's where equivocation comes from.
Yeah,
so it's the idea of you take something that could be morally good and you liken it to something that is morally evil. The language of the left is equivocal language all the time. They speak with the lies of equivocation.
So good. Yeah. J.D. Vance said this the other day, and it was excellent when he went on Laura Ingraham. He said, imminent incitements of violence are not protected under free speech. If you are threatening the life of children, maybe that's a little questionable.
Yeah.
Or during this, you see this No Kings protest that just happened this last week. And there's all these people celebrating the death of a political opponent that was assassinated, that are wishing the death upon the sitting president of the United States. These are public statements that you are making. And you're going to draw some false moral equivalence between what the left does in public, which time and again is disgusting, nasty, threatening violence, threatening the lives of people, destroying cities, burning Wendy's to the ground. And you're going to try to liken that to 20-year-olds in a group chat. That there is no comparison. The left, with all of their violence rhetoric, is breeding political assassins.
Yeah.
And on the right, we have leaked group chats.
That's right. So I think it was polling that, the youngest generation, this is on college campuses across the country, greater than 50% of Gen Z actually believe that physical violence is a form of legitimate speech.
Yes. Yeah, it was a YouGov poll. So it's 18 to 39.
18 to 39.
18 to 39 believe that political violence is okay.
That includes millennials.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Young people at a whole.
Okay.
That's all.
All right. So you're on Liberty Mountain. You just spoke in convocation. For those, and many don't know this, tell your Liberty story, because it goes back a few years.
It was about 6.5 years ago. And I just talked about this. I thought it was, sweet last night, bittersweet, that 6.5 years ago, I landed at the same Raleigh airport that I landed at last night, went to the same Enterprise rent-a-car that I went to last night, drove the same 2.5-hour drive that I did last night, and then went to the Montview Mansion that's where I met Charlie Kirk for the first time, right there at that dining room table. And it was bittersweet. And it was just kind of like a wink and a nod from God being like, I know Charlie's not here, but in a way he kind of is. And that's what the whole speech was centered around, is that there's only one type of hope in a hopeless generation that you can cling to, where if you put your hope in that one hope, dying is when you only truly begin to live. And so Charlie was killed, but he was not destroyed.
That's right.
And he lives on. His voice is louder than ever. It's more impactful than ever. But yeah, looking back, it's very sweet just to see that. And then after convocation, after I spoke, they played the Here I Am worship song, which I just thought was so powerful. And I felt like I totally felt not only the Lord's presence, but also just Charlie in that room.
Oh, absolutely. Isaiah 6, that was one of his favorite passages, and he would use it often. And it reminds me, even at the memorial service, how beautiful it was when those signs were held up. Here I am, send me. His big thing on obedience and courage, courage is really just about saying yes.
Yeah.
It's not about talent. It's not about how much influence you might have. It's not about how much money you might have. It's really just about saying yes in obedience to God.
Yeah. Yeah, I talked about that in my speech, just how us as Americans, we are a courageous people, whether that means, coming to this new land as pilgrims, just to come to something that's nothing and to build a society that's rich. And so we as Americans still love defending this land because we know our history. And so, when we see an illegal immigration invasion in our country under the Biden administration, we don't want that because we have a rich history and we want to protect the rich history that we have. We don't want to see this destroyed. And so it's in our DNA. The Pilgrims, the Patriots, the abolitionists and reformers of history, they first saw in their hearts a vision of the world as it should be. And then they found the courage to go and fight until it gave them whatever the cost was. For a lot of them, it was their lives.
Amen.
For Charlie, it was his life.
Yes.
Since 1971, Liberty University has had one mission: training champions for Christ. We've been at this for a while, and in the shadow of the Blue Ridge Mountains, we have grown to be a global force. Today, Liberty runs over 100,000 students around the globe, studying across 15 colleges and schools.
And, among them, over 30,000 military students.
Across 700 programs of study, we train as one: nurses, artists, business leaders of the future and today. Together, we work to give back through service trips, local community work, and over 500,000 volunteer hours per year. And we play just as hard as we study, with 20 NCAA athletic programs and 40 club sports teams. So, who are we? We are Liberty University, and we train champions for Christ.
Charlie was willing to die for it. And that just speaks volumes. I want to talk some of the things that you kind of mentioned, and I think it's so important. It's that next generation. It's reaching Gen Z. You're Gen Z.
Yeah.
The people that you were talking to in the room, they're basically your age.
Yeah.
Right. You had mentioned, and this is something that Charlie was keenly aware of. He was trying to bridge between the youngest and the oldest, and oftentimes the older generations like, quit your whining, quit your complaining.
Pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
Yes, all of that. And it's like, okay, but things are different now. We're more indebted as a society than we've ever been. Inflation is at the highest rate it's ever been, right? These are real things. These are not perceived problems. This is reality. It costs people 4 or 5 times their annual income on average to purchase a home.
More than that.
And not the
10 times.
Not the same as when boomers were coming right of age, right out of high school, getting job offers. So talk a little bit about that, because you mentioned some of the things that he had observed.
Yeah. And so the narrative here is that courage and hope. And so when you have a lot of courage but no hope, no vision, no dream for the future, that courage becomes a little reckless. And so right now we're a generation that's kind of hopeless that maybe we won't be able to afford a home one day, afford a family one day, afford to live out the American dream that our parents lived out. But this is really important, because as Gen Z, I know what a lot of my peers are going through. You graduate college, you're in debt, you go to find a job that doesn't exist, with the labor market already shrinking. And then on top of that, you have illegal immigrants taking up a lot of the jobs. You have H-1Bs taking up a lot of the tech jobs. And so you're thrown into this world saying, and then you hear from your peers and your parents and your grandparents saying, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, figure it out. But maybe the bootstraps don't exist anymore.
Right.
Maybe they just don't exist anymore. So looking at the data, in 2010, the average cost of a first-time home buyer was 30 years of age. In 2025, it's 38 years old.
Right.
That's first-time home buyers. Average home buyers are in their late 50s. That's for most home buyers right now are in their mid to late 50s. First-time home buyers are 38 years old.
Yeah.
And then from 2020 to now, it costs $50,000 more to buy a home. So inflation is going up. Homes aren't being built. The prices of homes are skyrocketing. Wages are decreasing. The job market is decreasing. Debt is increasing. And then you see these programs like credit card companies are a whole different thing for our parents' generation. But for young people, there's a new thing called BNPL.
Yeah.
It's the 4 letters. Charlie always said, if your politician doesn't know these 4 letters, there is a serious problem with them. Buy now, pay later, BNPL. And so right now, the top users are Gen Z and millennials. You said, wow, that accounts for a lot of millennials. I wonder why. So let's start drawing the lines here.
Yeah, connect the dots.
So Gen Z and millennials are the top users of BNPL. These are programs where you can buy groceries on Instacart.
Yep.
And then you do a payment plan
Yes.
to go pay for the pizza that you ordered on Instacart. And you can, they're partnering with DoorDash and they're partnering with all these. So you can buy a purse and then you pay after. Whereas our parents' generation was you work really hard, you pull yourself up by the bootstraps, and then after you pull yourself up by the bootstraps and work really hard, then you receive your reward. Natural, because that's what our parents had to go through. And that is a righteous, cool, amazing thing.
Yeah, it's biblical.
But it's the paradigm, it's shifted.
Yeah.
Everything is shifted. Because for young people now, it's I get the reward first, I make the payment in pain after. The bootstrap does not exist.
Yeah. It reminds me of that thing as a kid. I used to watch these old like Popeye cartoons, Popeye the Sailor Man. There's that guy that would always go by. He's like, "Sir, I would gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today." And so like he was constantly, I forget the guy's name. Was it Otis? I think it was Otis. But like whatever his name was, like it was the old Popeye thing. And it's a big fat guy, jolly fat guy. And he was constantly like, I want to eat today, but I'll pay you tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally what this BNPL thing is.
Yeah. Eat today, pay tomorrow. And so this is a trajectory. The top companies, the top two, so there's 4 BNPL companies. The top 2, Charlie warned about this all the time, aren't even American companies. One's an Australian company, one's some European company. And so not only is there credit card debt for the young generation, there's this BNPL program. And then they're in college, they're graduating with college debt, and they're going out to find jobs that don't exist. But I got the degree. The job has to exist. It's shrinking. And so I talked about this in my speech as well, but Charlie saw the youth turning out in record numbers for President Trump as their way of trying to get their leaders' attention. And them saying, Trump, you said you're going to fix the economy. And so we are listening. And the president is doing an incredible job.
Absolutely.
So credit to President Trump. But then Charlie also saw that radical candidates like Zohran Mamdani or Omar Fateh in Minneapolis, or now Jay Jones in Virginia, are the fruit of economic nihilism, is what he called it.
Yep.
Where you see these young people at a crossroad where they can either move radical or try to have hope and work hard and fix the economy and vote for the right candidates and participate in society. And the easy way out is to just vote for Zohran Mamdani, because socialism is going to be my solution, right, to the economic crisis. Taxing the top 10% is going to be the solution to my economic crisis, right?
Right.
And so that's the fruit of this. It's young people. This is Charlie's quote. It's young people saying, if things don't change for me economically, we will get really radical politically.
Yes.
And Zohran Mamdani, you see after the debate last week, 2 weeks ago, he has skyrocketed in poly market and all the betting markets.
Yep.
He's 98% favored to win because people see it.
It's disastrous.
He's the most relational when it comes to young people. They relate to him. They understand him.
He eats with his hands.
He eats with his hands.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. He's breaking the norms of culture.
Right.
And young people want that.
Yeah. Something you had said too earlier that I thought was so perceptive was just the grievances of socialism, that people don't follow Stalin because they love Russia, right? Because they have like some stake, It's because literally they own nothing. Yeah. And so they're angry. And so it's out of that plight, out of that frustration. Just like if you look at the French Revolution, which was a godless revolution. Yes. By the way, the Great Awakening never came to France. Yeah. It came to the American colonies. It came to Britain, never hit the main line, the main of the European continent. And so you're seeing where there's huge revival on both sides of the Atlantic in the English-speaking world. France, on the other hand, was just steeped in humanism, and it festered, right? Yes. And so same issue there, that all of the sort of societal conditions of extremely poor, there was a lot of death, there was hunger, there was disease. King Louis wasn't getting it done for them, and then they have a reign of terror, right? So people are willing to sort of overthrow something because there's nothing that is coming to them as a benefit. They're eroding our middle class.
Yeah. Yeah, Charlie, that was also a Charlie quote. You're going to learn with me. It's a lot of Charlie quotes.
That's great.
And it's my way of honoring him. But also I just heard them so often. So they're engraved in your head. But that is a Charlie quote that, rising wages, church attendance, happy people, grateful people do not get behind Vladimir Lenin and Chavez and Castro.
Right.
But here's the thing with the left. The left is pushing the narrative that we must destroy the old and rebuild the new. It's French Revolution all over again.
Yeah.
And so it's in New York City. The old has not worked. And so therefore we must destroy it with socialism and rebuild anew. And it is the French Revolution.
Yeah.
It's just reincarnate in its own new way. And sure, maybe there's not, the diseases that we had back in the day or anything like that. But it's a new set of issues for young people. And if you also look back at revolutions are run by young people.
They are.
Tiananmen Square
is young people. Right. That's right.
It started and run by young people. And so now you have young people that are saying, please help us. And a lot of politicians are either seeing them as naive or a roadblock in their way of what they see as America's future. So the over 50 crowd is maybe just saying, this is my view for America's future. And the young people are just a little bit naive and they're complaining and they're a roadblock. Yeah. This is some elected officials in the over 50 range. And so you see these young people saying, please listen to us. We did what was right. We won the youth vote in Michigan. We came out 13-point shift to the right in record numbers this 2024 election. Just listen to us, help us fix things economically.
Yeah.
And if things aren't going to get fixed, if we aren't going to listen, you're going to see a cultural revolution with young people.
Totally.
And the warning signs are New York City.
Right.
Mamdani is the warning sign.
All of those assets in one place. And a lot of people think about the New York Stock Exchange trades on Wall Street in New York City. He will be the mayor of that city. And people are like, oh, no, that's fine because those assets are diversified and whatever. It's like, no. I forget who it was, the old National Review writer. You might remember his name. But he was saying, hey, every once in a while, it's okay, have an experiment at a localized level and watch socialism fail. I wouldn't be so certain that it doesn't become a tipping point. You know, we don't need a little chaos to prove that chaos doesn't work.
We don't.
And so you create this instability and you watch what happens. Actually, disaster could happen, right?
Yes.
It may be unrecoverable.
Yes.
And you don't want to try that.
Yeah, and you would have also thought that the left after 2024 probably would have taken less radical stances because what lost them the White House was men and women's restrooms or the ad that you saw against Kamala Harris saying Trump's for you, Kamala's for they, them. And there's these radical stances that the left takes where normal people are like, that's just kind of against my common sense. I don't really align with that. I'll just vote for Trump.
Yeah.
And so you're seeing this, and the left you thought would have learned their lesson. Gavin Newsom invited Charlie on his show because he said, I want to understand why you guys whooped us. Charlie told him why. He just didn't listen. So if you would think they're going to get less radical, they're not. They're getting more radical.
They are.
You have a municipal power, New York City, that's threatening BDS laws, sanctions against a foreign country. A municipal power threatening sanctions?
Yeah.
Then he's saying he's going to arrest the leader, the prime minister of a foreign country, because of what he's done, because New York City disagrees with it, because their municipal power disagrees with it, because the International Criminal Court says so.
Wow.
It's insane to me that the left not only is moving further in radicalization,
right,
and then they're normalizing political violence on top of that. And then they're going to redefine what normal is.
Yes.
Sanction laws from a municipal power is normal. Don't you know that? Wait, no. Arresting the prime minister of a foreign country for stepping foot on our city soil, that's normal. What are you talking about? That's normal. That's what the left does. Yeah. And they try to make you think that it's normal. And they try to make you think that some young Republicans group chat is on the same level as someone running for attorney general threatening the life of children. These are not the same.
Right.
You guys are not the same. And so and more people need to realize that with the left. Not only are they moving further in radicalization, but they're also trying to normalize the crazy.
Yeah.
So you're looking for a university that's perfect for you, a school that has anything you could possibly need.
Anything?
You want a place that has the programs you want to study, and maybe a few more, just in case you change your mind.
I think I'm going to sign up for the fashion design program.
All right. A place with state-of-the-art facilities. I mean, look at this campus.
And who doesn't love big-time sports?
And great recreational activities.
Okay, now we're on a roll. Somewhere you can hike, slide, strike, shoot, climb, eat, and most importantly, eat. You want a place that takes you to space? Okay, maybe not, but we can teach you how to fly, or pastor a church, or run a business. And all that with a great view? Yeah, I think I know a place.
You know, it's crazy. You think about like people like, you know, Elizabeth Warren or Chuck Schumer or, Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah.
And we make fun of how old they are. But at the same time, I don't want to joke too much because I hope they hang on a little bit longer. Yeah. The sooner they go and they vacate, guess what comes up in their wake? Like who comes up new? It's going to be more radical. It's going to be more to the left. It's going to be more dogmatic. They'll seem sane and rational compared to what's coming next.
Yes.
And that's how unstable everything is.
Yeah, and that's something else that people need to realize about young people. This is not just the next generation of, your voters.
Mm-hmm.
This is the generation that gave you, the Senate majority and the House and the presidency.
Right.
Maybe give them a little bit of credit, listen to them a little more. But this is also going to be the generation that starts running for office very soon, that starts winning congressional seats really soon. And do you want them really radical and really left, or do you want them won over for the right? Yeah. And that's what Charlie's whole mission was. And that's why this is so important and why I just keep hammering this.
Totally.
Because it is so important. For the right and young people, Charlie Kirk was their hero. Mm-hmm. He was the third in 2024. Charlie Kirk had the third largest TikTok account. President Trump was number 1. Team Trump was number 2. Charlie Kirk was number 3. So Charlie Kirk in viewership was bigger than Taylor Swift, bigger than Beyonce, bigger than Kamala Harris, bigger than K-pop. He was the biggest TikTok account when it came to views. Why do you think that is? Because young people liked what he was saying, that he was pointing out their concerns, what was wrong with their generation, and he was offering them solutions. And so now that the hero of the young people, the martyr of the young people is gone, we still need to warn about these things.
Totally.
And I'll definitely keep warning about these things.
Keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, absolutely. Brother, thank you for that too. What do you see? I mean, so he talked a lot to, and this came out in Erica's speech on, at both the memorial service and on September the 12th. She talked about the Lost Boys. He loved the Lost Boys. He died for the Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Reaching that younger generation of young men who had been canceled and had no direction, no sense of purpose, right? They had no leadership, none whatsoever. And he was reaching to win them hearts and minds.
Yeah. Yeah. Generation Gen Z and millennials, just young people as a whole, have issues. But young men in particular was something that Charlie always sought to understand and really take care of. And he called it the Lost Boys of the West. And so he saw this generation of young men that were lacking direction, that were told, they're misogynistic, or told that if they, lean in to kiss their girlfriend at the wrong time, it's considered rape. He saw all these things against young men. And then on top of that, economically, you see young men graduating right now from college have the exact same joblessness rate as the men in the same age bracket that didn't go to college.
Right.
And so there's this bias towards young men. And Charlie would always say, this is really important too, that when men wander, it's bad for them, but it's also bad for society.
Yeah.
Wasn't good for men to be alone, which is why God made a woman.
Yeah, that's right.
When you are an unmarried man, you kind of wander a little bit. You feel lost. When you're married, it brings the order you've been missing in your life. But women don't want to get married right now. They want to commit to their jobs. They want to have kids in their late 30s. And so men are a little bit lost when it comes to marriage, a little bit lost when it comes to their career, a little bit lost when it comes to their passion, a little bit lost when they're found as the bad guy for every issue. And so when that happens and when men wander, it's bad for society. What are we seeing with young men? They're wandering. They have no purpose. I was just talking to Pete Hegseth recently, and he told me that young men in the military, because I had this exact same conversation with him. It's like, it's a character thing. Men need to build their character. They cannot wander. He said, yeah, when I came into the DOD and when I came in as Secretary of War, I immediately went and checked the ad spend. How much money are we spending on ads? And they were spending a ton of money, but the number one ad spend was the most left-wing TV show you could imagine. And you have to ask yourself, what kind of men are we recruiting for our military?
Right.
My brother is in the Navy, and he told me under the Biden administration, they had, trans and gay flags on the ship, and during Pride Month, they had a big Pride celebration all around the ship. This is a problem for young men because we're losing our masculinity, we're losing our direction, our focus, we're losing our purpose. The world is turning against us. Nobody wants to get married. This is a big problem, not just for young people, but for young men too.
Totally. Mikey, last question.
Yeah.
Just one to hang our hat on. What gives you the greatest hope?
Young people at the same time. The fact that, I know that's funny to say after everything that I just said, but it really is young people. I had a conversation with someone yesterday where they're like, man, Charlie was like the mission for Turning Point, and now that he's gone, I feel like I lost my mission. It's like, I obviously I feel the same because Charlie was so ingrained. But for me, the thing that gives me the most hope and the most excitement is young people. How fired up they are about their future. They are the most courageous.
Yeah.
They are the most courageous. They just feel a little hopeless right now. And if you give them that hope, there will be a renaissance in this country, the likes of which we've never seen.
Amen. That's only found in Jesus Christ.
Amen. That's right. The one only hope. Give your life to the Lord.
Amen. Brother, thank you. Keep on keeping on. We're praying for you. God bless you, Mikey McCoy. Thank you for joining us. Hey, did you find this helpful? I hope you did. Please like and subscribe, share with a friend, and also go to standingforfreedom.com where you can find more content, articles, podcasts, and our Theology of Politics series, all at standingforfreedom.com.